What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. This is the Poco M4 Pro. It is a budget smartphone and it only has LTE, it doesn't have 5G. So if you need a 5G phone, you're probably gonna wanna look elsewhere, but don't stop that from looking at this phone. It's a pretty nice phone for what it gives you, and it gives you an interesting design. It has that big Poco branding, the big camera cutout right back here. You can see at the top what you get, which is one of the rare things, is a headphone jack. So if you need a headphone jack, this phone has it. Also has expandable storage as well, so you can put in a micro SD card. It has the fingerprint on the side here, which you can see. This is probably my favorite place to have it, and it works great. You can see no problems at all with that, as well as the volume keys, which is nice. This is the 6GB RAM, 128GB storage version. I also have an 8GB RAM, 256GB of storage. So if you want a little bit better performance, you might want to go that route. Inside the box, you get a massive, huge 33-watt charger. So it does fast charge. It also comes with the charging cable, which again, very rare to see these days, which is awesome as well to have in there. And then also in here, you can see you get a little floppy case as well to protect the phone. The camera setup on the back is a tri-camera setup. You get 64 megapixels, 8 megapixels, and 2 megapixels. You also get an LED flash HDR. Video for the cameras front and back is 1080p 30. Plastic design. I love plastic phones. They don't break if you drop them, and they're fine, you know. You might have a little bit of I'm not noticing too many fingerprints or anything just in the short time I've been using it. I can see a little bit, but nothing too crazy on there. One of the nice things about this phone is even though it's a budget phone, you still get a 90 hertz refresh rate on there. So that's really nice. The processor inside is not a speed demon. So you're gonna get a Helio G96 processor. I did run a Geekbench test mark on there, so you can see those. Not that impressive. You can see 506 and 715 on the single core, but generally just using the phone, it's not that bad in terms of, you know, just using it to do things. You can see I'm loading up the ESPN website, which is a hog of a website when you use it, but ultimately it doesn't work that bad. Let's load up Yahoo real quick. Everything, like the basics, run pretty well on this. Open up Google Play Store, click on one of these things, look up TikTok. So again, if you're looking for something that does the basics pretty well and can also play some light gaming, this is not a bad phone to look at. And the nicer thing about this is really the display. The display is an AMOLED display. It is a 1080p plus, like I said, 90 hertz refresh rate on the display, which is really nice. It's not the best display I've ever seen in my life, don't get me wrong here, but when you turn this up to full brightness, you get a fairly bright, nice display, and I appreciate that. I think they did a really nice job with the display, no matter what you're doing. If you're watching videos, here we go, we got the video rolling, got it pinched in, and it still fits everything pretty well. Viewing from the corner doesn't really lose too much quality. Very nice display, especially for what you expect in a phone in the budget range. It looks really good. I appreciate the display on here. We talked about this having 33-watt fast charging. Well, one of the other cool things is it has a really big battery. It has a 5,000 milliamp battery in here, so you're going to get really good battery life. And also knowing that it has 1080p resolution, that's also going to help with the battery life, and you can turn this down to 60 hertz if you want to get even better battery life. Plus it doesn't have 5G, which is also kind of a battery hog. So overall, you're going to get pretty freaking good battery life with this phone. Next up, let's talk about the cameras. The cameras on here, you see you got the front and then you got 3 in the back. Kind of spoke about that a little bit earlier. And you have all the settings that you'd want. You got your pro mode, you got your video on both sides, you got photo mode, you got portrait mode, you can hit more and you can go into night mode, 64 megapixel mode, short videos, panorama, documents if you're scanning in a document, slow motion, time lapse. So all that stuff is really nice. With that said, let's check out some photos and videos that I took with this phone. M4 Pro, using the front camera right now, walking around my downstairs area. I like to do this when I'm walking around to show not only stabilization, but how good it's going to look. Because some people are going to make videos like this, and you're going to be curious what it looks like. One thing I noticed about this camera is it, like, whenever it sees light, and I don't know if it needs an update or it's always going to have this problem, but it really washes everything out. Like, it makes it really, really white looking. I don't know, something I noticed. It has trouble adjusting to the light, basically. Let's see if it turns. It's not too bad right there, but I don't know. Sometimes it does. Here's the wide angle camera, ultra wide. I should say, I'm gonna flop it around. Put it on the guy, put it on the star of this video. Or is the star of the video my dog, Shoko. Shoko, let's go outside a little bit. You guys are probably all stuffy feeling in the inside, so I thought I'd bring you outside. Curious to see how these microphones sound as well. You guys a fan of the ultra wide? I am a big fan of the ultra wide. I like to use it. Very nice. Ooh, sun's in my eyes. Now we're using the main camera on the back. One thing to know about these cameras is the highest they go in resolution are 1080p 30. So not very high in their resolution at all. Flip it around. Put it on me again. What do you guys think so far? Only looking at it, and I guess I'll wait till I look at them on the computer, but so far, I don't know if I'm impressed. Hopefully my opinion changes when I actually see this on the computer after processing, and how the processing does with the phone and stuff. We'll see how it looks, but I'm not going to edit the photos at all anyway.
Boxes are defeated. Purpose always fleeting. I pose questions to the ceiling like an answer gonna come. Truth is too revealing. Life is easy and concealing. All emotions to the star on your heart going numb. I should be in drive more. I just wanna feel alive more. I feel hurt all the time, boy. I can't see straight.
Speakers on here are actually really, really nice. I thought they sounded pretty good. Stereo speakers, and I would definitely give them 2 thumbs up for the sound. Software experience, they give you a lot of software on here, and I mean that in a good way and bad way. First of all, bad way, there's quite a bit of pre-installed software here, especially on the games route. You've got that game, Dust, whatever that says. You have, I saw PUBG, there's Blocks, there's Bubble Game, there is, what other games do we have? There was like, I think it was like 5 games or something. You got some Poco software, security software, you got your scanner, and there's games in here that I wouldn't, care to play on. I guess you could play PUBG, which is a higher end game, but regardless, if you want to remove one of these games, like say you want to remove PUBG, let's see if we can remove it real quick. We can. So there's, if there's apps on here you don't want, especially on the game route that are like third-party games, you can get rid of them. And then the good part of this, though, is you do have a lot of control over the software. You can change your wallpapers pretty easily on here, just like you could any. And they have this little store that you can go through that allows you to get themes for your phone. If you're coming from a Galaxy phone or something like that, you do have the ability to come in here, download some apps on, or some themes, I should say, pay free, whatever you want. You also have things with wallpapers and ringtones. You can change those really easy and download them from the store. Go onto your profile. All that's really great. You also have your other, let me go up here. You also have your regular settings in here. That gives you a lot of other stuff, such as if you go into About Phone, you can look at your storage left and all that kind of stuff. You can also go into your all specs to see what the specs are fully on your phone if you want, which is nice. This is kind of rare to see that in phones a lot of the time. You also have your always on display. You can turn that on and off. So if I turn it on right here and then hit my home button, my always on display on, you can see. I mean, this is rare stuff sometimes with a lot of these budget type phones. You have raise to wake. You can go into display settings and change your refresh rates and text sizes and things like that. Notification and control panel, you can change the way that looks. Themes, like I mentioned earlier, you got your passwords and security. You can turn on face unlock. You got special features for the sidebar. You can see you can pull in this sidebar and have apps show up and floating windows, second spaces. So it's really, really nice, the software experience over. I appreciate it. A lot of control over it, and it's really, really cool. It does not have wireless charging, unfortunately, or fortunately, the way you look at it. I don't look at that as a huge deal breaker, but it doesn't have it. But overall, it's a pretty nice phone being in the budget category. I really like the display. I think the speakers are good. It's comfortable to hold in your hand, meaning it's not too big, but it's not too small. It's at that perfect kind of size. It's a 6.43 inch display, the 90 hertz refresh rate. The performance is pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it gets the job done. You can still play some games on here if you're a gamer and not have to worry. Battery life is good. Cameras are okay, not blown away by them, but they get the job done in a pinch with that kind of quality. The software is a little cloudy with some pre-installed apps, but you can uninstall them. But I also like the full control over this with themes and all that kind of stuff, and then going into the settings menu and being able to control it there as well. So overall, a very decent phone with some features that, it does have splash resistance, doesn't have water resistance, but splash resistance. So it has maybe not the full kit and caboodle of everything you'd want, but enough to make you satisfied. So check it out. This is the Poco M4 Pro. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.